What's up, good people? I'm Chef Marvin Woods. I have partnered with Dr. Akua Woolbright to make some wonderful gourmet. I say gourmet because we're gonna take the intimidation out of it. So gourmet dishes, we're gonna take you all over the world, but as you know, the doctor specializes in vegan and vegetarian. So today we're going to Italy. We are going to make gnocchi, all right? But the twist is a little bit of smoked collard green tomato ragout. What? Now, we grilled the tomatoes ahead of time, and we grilled some collard greens ahead of time. So we're gonna sit that over there. We're gonna come back to that. I think the elephant in the room is the gnocchi, right? Again, you look at a recipe, you might not know how to pronounce something, you might not recognize something, but at the end of the day, let's break it down. It's pasta. And this pasta is so simple to make. It's literally potato and flour. And so in this case, we're using cassava flour. You can use coconut flour, you can use all-purpose flour, you can use rice flour. It's simple, okay? I've made mashed potatoes earlier. Regular potato, peel it, throw it in water, a little bit of salt, boil it, pull it out, mash it, all right? Step one. The other ingredients we're gonna pop in this pasta mix. We have some potato flakes. If you don't have potato flakes, it's fine. You don't need potato flakes. We have cassava flour. I have onion powder, garlic powder, and nutmeg. A little bit of salt. That's it. So let's go to work. Right here, we have a pot of water. It will come to a boil. Once we make our pasta, we're gonna drop it in there. 5, 7 minutes, they start to float. We take them out, we're golden. Okay, first step, let's get our mash in the bowl, and what we want to do is season the mash before we add, so we taste it. So now we know where we start. Why did I do that? When I made the potatoes, I put some salt in the water. I tasted just now to see how much salt the potatoes absorb. And right now it's light. So now I know where I'm starting from, okay? We're gonna build on that. I'm gonna add a little garlic powder. I'm gonna add onion powder. Now again, I'm running through this. The full-on recipe, it's on the website. All the measurements, all the particulars, so you don't have to freestyle it like I'm doing it. This is nutmeg. I know, right? That right there is one of my favorite savory herbs. Why? It goes sweet, it goes savory. I use nutmeg from buttermilk batters or vegetarian rice batters to putting it in my vegan mac and cheese, putting it in this pasta dish, all right? And people go, oh, I know, what is that taste? And they can never guess nutmeg. Nutmeg is the game changer. Now, I'm just adding a little bit of cassava flour to this. I'm gonna add a little bit of Him salt. So I'm using Himalayan sea salt. So now, you'll see me using different types of salts. Himalayan, especially in this particular dish, in this mixture, it's finer, goes away. That's what we want. Kosher salt, I use when I'm seasoning up things, grilling, etc. It's a bigger flake. That's how I use my different salts. Both of them are all natural. Himalayan being the best because it's sea, comes from the sea, Himalayan mountains. And you have that minerals and nutrients from the ocean. Now, I can smell the nutmeg in this. Oh, it's so lovely. I use my hands. Lose that spoon. I'm gonna add a little more flour to this. So what we're looking for, it to come together and form a ball. Throw a little more flake in there too. And once it starts to stick together like that, we're gonna roll it out. Now, come over here. We use some of the same flour and we dust our surface. I'm gonna work my ball a little bit more. Bring everybody together. Lose the excess. Now, to make it easy to work with, I'm gonna cut it in half. Lightly start adding pressure. You might have to put it back together a couple times. Your starch and your potato is what's holding it together. Now, in a traditional, leads me to the next point. In a traditional gnocchi, typically there's egg in it. An egg is your binder, but in this, we're just going off the starch of the potato. So it's a little delicate, but it will work. The translation for gnocchi, and it's actually spelled, it's not even spelled how it sounds. It starts with a G. The translation is soft pillow. So we are making small, soft little pillows. And we want to get this string or this roll till it's about 1/2 inch in diameter. And so once you have it in that type of shape. Now, if you ever had gnocchi, you'll see sometimes it has little markings on it. That's done with a fork. So you cut your whole roll. I have a pot of water. It is boiling. We're gonna add a little salt to it. I'm gonna just take 2 seconds and rinse the dough off my hands. Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna drop these in here, in this boiling water. You know they're done when they float to the top. It's gonna take about 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Okay, while that's in the pot, we go on to build our ragu. So, ragu, it's basically ingredients in a liquid, in a broth. And it's almost more ingredients, less liquid. So if it's 3-part ingredient, it's 1 part liquid. That's how we determine what a ragu is, okay? Saute pan, and get it hot. As always, I'm going to start with building my flavor. I'm going to use onion and garlic. Now, I got 2 different collard greens. One I put on the grill and smoke, and the other one is raw. So once I start sweating my onions and garlic, I'm going to add my raw collard greens. And I don't believe in cooking collard greens for 6 to 7 hours. I literally, and I'm going to cut these fine so it's going to break down and cook quick. But I don't believe any vegetables should be abused that way. Doesn't take that long to cook it. Okay, microplane. Don't know if you ever caught me talking or using a microplane, but this is my favorite tool. You just take your garlic and roll across it, and that's what you get. So now you got beautiful flavor, and it's going to break down. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. I'm going to use some of my pasta water. Oh, onion and garlic, they go so good together. Now, I will say this. I will remove the stem because we're not going to be cooking this for long. So, take the stem out. That's simple. If you've ever heard the term, if you're watching a cooking show, you hear the term chiffonade. It's basically taking the ingredient, rolling it up, and cutting it like you would cut a julienne. That's what a chiffonade is. C-H-I-F-F-O-N-A-D-E. Chiffonade. Okay. I'm gonna add a little more water. To that, we're gonna add a little fresh tomato. Now I'm just gonna V it and take that little part out right there. And I'm gonna cut these in nice big chunks. And then I also have a little bit of whole peeled plum tomatoes. You know, this is one of the ways, if you want to make sure you guarantee a good rich tomato flavor, you get some good plum tomatoes and you'll be there. Because, you know, sometimes you go to the store, you buy a tomato, it's gorgeous, it's red, the feel is right, it's not too soft, it's not too hard, and then you get it home and it's like, oh my gosh, it tastes like cardboard, right? It's got no flavor. Typically because it was picked when it wasn't in season, it was picked before it became ripe, and they sell it to us like that. So, we'll chop that up. We're gonna let that ragu cook for about 5 minutes. When we come back, we'll be putting it together. Okay, so my gnocchi has floated to the top. I'm pulling out. Right now, I just put a little bit of olive oil in that bowl. I'm looking at my ragu, see where I'm at with that. All those flavors are starting to blend. I'm gonna add a little black pepper. I'm gonna add mushrooms. I'm gonna add some fresh basil. I love basil to the point where I don't even need to cut it with a knife. I can just break it off, just like that. Nice big pieces of basil. It's so floral. All right. For the smoky collard greens, so the little leaves, I'm gonna just do a little rough chop on that. Give that a toss. Add a little more of my water for our ragu part. Let me get a ladle, might be easier. Now, I will also taste it to make sure my water is not too salty that I'm adding into my ragu, so that's important. Okay. So, we started off with onions, garlic, fresh collard greens. Put that there. Then we added mushrooms, we added tomatoes, we added basil. And just letting all these flavors come together. And I will check it. I want a little more garlic in it. So, right into the pan. Some more garlic. Tap that down. After all, we are going to Italy. You can never have enough garlic. It's good for the heart, people. Good for the heart. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's starting to look the way we want. I can smell the smokiness from the grill flavor on the collard greens. Yeah, baby. Now, let us plate up. I want a spoon that's not too big. Oh, I can go with that one. That's cool. All right. Now I'm gonna mix a couple of my gnocchi in here. All the smells, the garlic, the char from the grill, the tomatoes, the basil. The mushrooms gotta play in this, because I use a mixer of mushrooms. Now, some of that broth, that umami. Woohoo! Oh, you're gonna love this one, people. You are going to love this one. The last thing I would do is hit it with a little more basil love. That's it. I mean, as we say in Italy, buon appetito.